The countdown to terror has begun.
The signal's getting stronger now. It won't be long.
Come quick! The monster done ate my pappy!
Do you really think this was a bear, Doc?
Highly unlikely.
First man on Mars. Once he was human.
There's something shiny in the rock. This is really starting to sting.
Now a bloodthirsty monster, killing and devouring the young. And not so innocent.
Let's take a look at this, huh?
I'm gonna blast the thing back to hell.
Oh, shit.
First man on Mars.
You mean there's aliens out here? Shit. I don't want to get ducted and anal.
This film is not rated. Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Horror Mike Show on this fine and fiendish Friday night, or should I say Fright Day night. Folks, we got a show for you tonight. I can't really believe it myself. I got to tell you, but it's true. It's all true, and it all will be revealed tonight. Indeed. Some crazy stuff, man. Well, what you just saw, of course, is a trailer to my film, First Man on Mars. And, actually, the last thing you saw was, of course, the exciting sleeping bag massacre from John Frankenheimer's film, The Prophecy. Okay. Before that, my film, First Man on Mars, which is available on Blu-ray. It's on sale on eBay currently. Before that, I believe it was Ultraman Zerth or Z Earth. I'm not quite sure, but kind of an exciting trailer, a bit insane. I kind of like that one. Prior to that, The Blob, of course, classic, one of the great 1950s sci-fi horror films starring Steve McQueen and a bunch of young people, as the guy says, starring Steve McQueen and a cast of young people. Or something like that. And before that, of course, it was 1980s Battle Beyond the Stars. Roger Corman's answer to Star Wars, folks. Yes. Who can forget or who can remember? I don't know, but we're going to look into that tonight a bit closer. Ah, a fine beverage indeed. A bit of coffee, folks. Doing the coffee scene right now. I tell you what, let's take a look at the chat and see who is in with us tonight on this fine and fiendish Friday night. Good Lord. Apex Comics is here. Hello, Apex. How are you doing? Good to see you. Werewolf by Lunchtime is here. Hello, Werewolf. Great to see you, man. Eric Boyd on the scene in the house. Good God, man. Great to see you as well. My good man. To paraphrase me. Indeed. Michael Taylor is here. Hello, Michael Taylor. How you doing? Everybody's saying their hellos, yeah? PBR Street Gang is on the scene. Hello, PBR. How are you doing on this fine and fiendish Friday night? My good man. All right, folks. Well, there's a few things going on. I am going to show you my slabbed comic book collection tonight. Yes, Horror Mike's Raging Slabs, folks. You're going to be seeing them shortly. As a matter of fact, I think that's the first thing I'm going to do before we get into a few other things that are new around the internets that you're going to want to check out, of course. And then naturally, we're going to get into a bit of TUBI time. And we've got I can only say is a potpourri of films. TUBI, of course, it's the new year. Tubi has added a lot of films, not much in the way of 70s, 80s exploitation so far, anyways, but some really good films. Okay. And, well, perhaps some not so good films, but we're going to be taking a look at all of those tonight on the Horror Mike Show. Ah, good Lord. Fiends. All right, man. So, the slabs. I'm just going to get right to it, folks. You guys want to check these out. I know it. Look, I'm not a great fan of slabs. I'm not, it's one of those things that in the last, especially, I guess I would say in the last 10 years, let's say, I bought a few. And I bought a few because they were at the time pretty cheap. Okay, so that was the main thing, the catalyst for me getting these particular issues slabbed. Not only that, but I have all of them raw, reading copies, whatever. So it's not one of those situations where I just bought a slabbed comic. I've never read it. I've got them all as far as reading copies. So there's that. Okay. But yeah, and I've mentioned this before on several occasions. I'm a big Dave Stevens fan, big fan of 1980s comics. When we talk about Eclipse and Pacific Coast comics, Blackthorn, there's just so many. Of course, there was some good Marvel stuff and DC stuff happening at the time, but the 80s was really like an indie comics revolution. It really was. It was quite amazing. There were just people all over the place. And that brings me to my first slab, folks. It's got it. It's got it all. It's got it all. It is, of course, let me make sure that the date. Yeah, 1983, right. Obviously. Alien Worlds number 4 from September of 1983. And of course, I just have a normal copy, but I got this pretty cheap, actually. And it is, of course, as the CGC gods have deemed it, a 9.6. So it's kind of minty. It's kind of on that minty side. But check out that Dave Stevens art. That is just ultra sweet right there, folks. The master, Dave Stevens. And of course, on the back, full page ad for Bruce Jones. Great series, Twisted Tales. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. That is a Richard Corbin cover on that issue of Twisted Tales, which I have. And it's great. So there you go. That's the front and back of Alien Worlds. And I love it, man. It's a great one. I mean, it's not, let's put it this way, folks, it's not rare. It's one of those that you could just get a normal copy in great shape for probably for $20. I would say $20, $30, I would think. It's just not that rare. Spock, it's not that rare of a comic book. That's what I'm saying to you right now. Now, this one's a little more rare, folks, and it is the only pre-code comic book I have, slabbed. Now, well, let me show you this beauty. It's one of the another one of those insane covers that you're just like, what the hell is going on? But it is a beauty. This is Journey into Fear number 3 from 1951. The cover art is by Igershop. And so as you can see on the cover, you've got a woman in lingerie. She's in her bed. And she's startled by an old man at the door. And in between them is a rather angry pussy. Okay. So let the Freudian slips begin, folks. That's what I'm saying right there. And it happens to go with the story, the top story, as you can see, which is called Midnight Prowler, which is a great story, by the way. And it really has nothing to do with what's going on the cover. They just kind of went nuts. I'm really not sure what the hell, but I guess they thought it would sell the comic book. Okay. That's what I'm saying right now. Journey into Fear, folks. And as you can see, this is a restored grade because it's got slight color touch on the cover. And I think it's because the guy, I mean, from what I can tell here, he may have touched up some of the black at the spine. So there you go. But it's a 4.5. It's actually a nice, really nice looking book. And I love the Journey into Fear series. Obviously, I've got this in reprint form, as you guys know. If you've seen previous videos of mine, I do have the PS Art Books 3-volume set of Journey into Fear. So, you know, it's still, though, I'm kind of thinking about cracking this, folks. I'm thinking about cracking it and removing it from its plastic bondage. I really am. It's the one that I'm kind of, you know, because this is it. This is the only, as I said, this is the only slabbed pre-code horror comic book I have. I got it because it was a really good deal on it. And, but I just hate seeing it in that damn slab, folks. That's what I'm saying right there. And of course, the back is just the greatest tool set ever offered. Right there, folks, for $1.25. Yes. Oh, yeah. So there you go. That is Journey into Fear number 3. It's a beauty. It's a real beauty. And date. Next up, yeah, this one, once again, it's not rare. It's one of those I had to get because once again, it was really cheap. it was pretty bloody cheap at the time. I think I paid $25 for this, right? It's Chamber of Chills number 1 when Marvel redid it. And it's got the Harlan Ellison story of Dragon Stalks by Night. Let's see what it says here. A Tale of Fear by Harlan Ellison. An evil of hate that engulfed 2 worlds. There you go. A Dragon Stalks by Night by Harlan Ellison. So pretty damn groovy right there and pretty cheap, you know, to get it. Now, as you notice, this is a PGX. Yes, I don't even know if PGX is still in existence. but yeah, it is PGX 9.0. So it's, you know, it's in great shape, obviously. God, you know, it's hard to believe. It's, you know, got the, I mean, look at this, the ad on the back, man. It's LaSalle Extension University. Look who's smiling now, folks. That's what they're saying right there. But yeah, so Chamber of Chills. I'm sure probably a few of you guys have some issues of this. Of course, Harvey did Chamber of Chills in the 50s, pre-code horror. You know, that was the first Chamber of Chills. And quite good, you know, just fantastic artists. They had Bob Powell, Howard Nostrand in there. A ton of great artists, really, during the pre-code era. Now, yeah, this one is, well, I'm going to, oops a daisy. Okay, now don't do anything. Don't do anything rash. Okay, slabs. I know you're raging slabs and all that shit, but yeah, here's the one that started it all, folks. Right here. Star Slayer. Yeah, I was a big Star Slayer fan back in the day. Just kidding. Now I got this. Of course, this is the first appearance of The Rocketeer by Dave Stevens, 1982. And yeah, I've got, of course, I have a normal issue that I read. And of course, it has got the ad on the back for The Rocketeer, which is just a fantastic full page ad as well. But yeah, it's just one of it's the way it happened with PC here, Pacific Coast. They went ahead and just had The Rocketeer as a secondary story in Star Slayer. I don't think that was a great move, but that's what they did. And so this is where you're going to find the first appearance of The Rocketeer right here. And it's nice. It's a 9.4. I've also got, once again, folks, it was cheap. I also have a 9.0. Okay. And I just couldn't pass them up. This was several years ago. And so there you go. Now I got a 9.0 and a 9.4 of Star Slayer number 2. But of course, it's The Rocketeer, my good fiends. And that's it. Folks, that's all the slab comics I got. I got 5 slabbed comics. That's it. And I really don't plan on getting any more. The last one I got was The Journey into Fear. And it was because it was a really great deal on this particular comic book. I just could not pass it up. I knew somebody would snag it. Well, I did. I snagged it before others snagged it. So there you go. Yeah, okay. Hold on. Let me just get that. There we go. There we go. We've got it. We've got it. Now, it's one of those things. I bring that up, folks. I bring up the thing about, well, let me get it again. This one in particular. The other ones, it was just a matter of getting them at some time. But with Journey into Fear, I saw it and I knew it was newly listed on this particular website. And I saw the price and I was like, this is going to go. This is going to go real quick. And so I snagged it. It's one of those things that sometimes the early bird does catch the worm, indeed. And I guess in that sense, I was the early bird. And this was the worm right here. Nice slabby worm. Okay, folks, right there. Journey into Fear. So let me show you what I mean about just, getting in there. Sometimes you hit, sometimes you miss. Okay. Check this out. This just happened, by the way. This just happened. I couldn't even believe it, folks. I couldn't believe it. Okay, so I'm on eBay, right? I'm checking out my stuff, the stuff I'm selling. I decide to take a look at what's new in the pre-code horror comics, right? So I'm looking, and there's this Atlas Comics pre-code, 1952. Mystery Tales number 4. Good old Stan Lee editor. Really good lineup of artists, including George Russos, who did a lot of work, of course, for EC, and a couple of other. I think he worked for Standard as well. But you're looking at it right now, and it was for bid. It was the guy opened a bid, and it was $10.95, or buy it now for $25.95. So I'm like, what? That's incredibly cheap. What the hell's wrong with it? And so I started looking, closely at it, because typically with something like that, if you're gonna sell it for 26 bucks, a pre-code horror comic, it's missing pages, it's missing a centerfold, back cover, you name it, all kinds of problems. There were no problems like that. At least according to the description and the photos of this. Yeah, I mean, look, you can look in the corners. It's pretty good. Now that's a little rough on the top edge. There's a couple of things there on the top edge, like you can see right here, small pieces missing. That's not really a big issue considering that price, you know. Spine pretty intact. Intact. Believe it or not, folks, it's not even, there's no cover separation. Staple's still intact. It is attached, the book is attached to the cover. And so I'm looking at this and I'm like, wow, that's pretty incredible. Back cover, not bad at all. A couple of very small pieces out of it. And I'm thinking, okay, this book is complete. There's no real problems with it except a couple of minor things on the cover, for a comic, of the pre-code age of the 1950s. That's pretty much something you can expect with a relatively low grade issue. Still, I would call this a 3.0, And I'm thinking, and so I'm looking at it. I'm just kind of looking at it, and suddenly I'm like, hey, wait a second, I should buy this. Are you kidding me? This is like this is a really great deal. So I go to buy it, and I realize I'm not logged in. So I log in and I refresh the page, and somebody bought it. There you go, folks. That's how quick. You have to be quicker. That's all. Somebody bought that sucker like in 5 seconds it took for me to actually log into eBay. Somebody bought that sucker and got a great deal. That is just absolutely stunning. As the guy says in the description, in this particular issue, you have Bob Fujitani, artists, great artist. Man, that guy, he did a ton of Golden Age stuff. Hangman, really great character that he did. Alan Bellman, also in here, he did Captain America. I know Bellman did some Captain America stuff. Victor Carabata, he was another artist. He was one of the 3 artists still alive. Sadly, he has passed away since 2019 when I interviewed him. But he was one of the artists I interviewed for Haunted Thrills, my documentary, which you can watch on my YouTube channel, by the way. But you got Victor Carabata, George Russos, as I said, is in here. So there you go, man. I mean, that's a solid array of artists, especially Fujitani and Russos, I would say. And somebody snagged that sucker for 26 bucks. Good Lord. So it depends on what you're looking for. I guess that's the moral of the story here, folks. Whatever you're looking for in comic books, if you look at newly listed stuff enough, chances are you're going to run into something like this. Whatever the hell you're looking for, somebody's going to put something up there and lowball it. And it'll be a price where you're just like, holy crap, I got to get that incredible price. Do it immediately, because odds are there's a dozen other people looking at it at the same time you are, maybe hundreds. Who the hell knows with eBay? And of course, pre-code comics are extremely hot. So, that's how it goes. That's what's going to happen. in the pre-code horror world, folks. You win some, you lose some. Okay. Let me get back to the chat here and see who is on the scene. Did I miss some? Good Lord. I don't even know where the hell I am now. Oh, here we go. I did. Oh, yeah, I guess I missed a few, didn't I? Good Lord. Okay, I think I'm just going to start here. Eric, thank you, my friend, for putting that eBay link in there for First Man on Mars. Folks, it's on sale for $845. And that includes some physical extras that I put into the Blu-ray, which are really cool. And you're automatically entered to win one of 2 movie props that were used in the film. They come with signed certificate of authenticity. So you get a kind of a double whammy with the thing, where you get a great Blu-ray of a fine sci-fi horror film, and you get a chance to win movie props from the film. So that is it's kind of a double dinger, I'd like to say right there, folks. Oh, I don't know, maybe it wasn't working, folks. Well, if that one didn't work, I think that one would work, I do believe. No, I don't know. Uh-oh. Okay, now Werewolf's got the .com.au. Let me check something out, folks. I'm gonna go. Hopefully that's still working. Okay, now this is the page. It really depends on what you're into, folks. I'm dropping the link into the chat. This is my website, horroranthologymovies.com. That is the First Man on Mars page. Basically, you can buy it directly off of my website, or of course you can get it through Amazon and eBay. Now, the thing about eBay is that there's a sale going on right now. Here is the page, and you can get it for $8.45. Yes, you heard that right, folks. $8.45 on eBay. So I'm going to drop this linky into the chat right now. I appreciate all of you guys dropping the links in the chat as well. But there is definitely a link that is working with that one. Okay, let's go back. Eric says, very nice. Alien Worlds #4. Yes, I dig the hell out of that one. It is quite nice indeed. Solid Forest Bend. I think I'm saying that right. Hey, Mike, great trailer for your movie. Thank you, my good man. I appreciate that. Love the Alien Worlds, and especially the Twisted Tale series. Yes, Bruce Jones for the win on that one. I totally dig that series. And of course, some of those nice Corbin covers. They're really quite groovy. Yeah, that Alien Worlds #4 has a pre-code sci-fi feel to it. Yes. That's an Australian link there, folks, for First Man on Mars. Thank you, Werewolf. Shannon is here. Don't know who that is. Is that Solid Forest Bend? Shit. I don't know. I have no idea. It could be. And that is weird. I don't know. That's a strange one, Eric. Not quite sure why your link wasn't working there. Rather odd. Kevin Helen is here. Hello, Kevin. How are you doing? Great to see you tonight. Werewolf says, I'm sure if you order from there, it might work out freight accordingly. Oh my God. You got to love those ads. Yes. The ads are always hilarious. PBR Street Gang says, I have the artisan edition of the Rocketeer. Great stuff. Yes. I know exactly what you're talking about, PBR. That freaking thing looks great. I was looking at one at a convention a few years ago, and fantastic. Michael Taylor says, yes, Shannon, the ads are half the fun. Yeah, okay. Gotcha. They're saying their hellos there. Solid says, I have all of 6 slabbed comics. Well, I have 5. So that puts us in the same boat, Solid. Right there, which means that basically we kind of have an aversion to slab comics, and that's a good thing. You know, as I said before, that I got these because they were extremely reasonable. That's it, man. I was like, okay, I've got the comic, you know, I've got them all in raw form. I can read them. I'll get some slabbed ones because I can't, it's like one of those things where you just can't pass up the price, you know. For the money, you couldn't beat it. Okay, I think I'm, no, I guess I'm not. Tatsusama is here. Hello, Tatsusama. How are you doing, man? Good to see you. Yo, Sir Mike. Well, thank you. Thanks for that super chat, Tatsusama. I greatly appreciate it. My good man, you are a gentleman and a scholar. Indeed. I have to dip out. Everyone have a great weekend. See you, Eric. Take care, man. Michael Taylor says, yeah, that's a steal for that Mystery Tales 4. Maybe the seller didn't know what he had. Yeah, Mike, sometimes you can't even wait a second to pull the trigger. That's what happened to me. Waited too long. Yeah, you just, you know, it's one of those things where when you see something like that and it's so cheap, you're thinking, okay, there's something wrong with this. There's something wrong with it. What is it? You know, and I looked at the photos, then I read the description. I looked at the photos again, read the description again, and I'm like, man, this comic book it's like a 3.0. It's not missing anything. It's got the centerfold. It's attached to the, you know, covers attached to the book. That's an easy, you know, you could probably turn around and sell it for an easy 100, I would say, with no problem, which is maybe what the guy's going to do. Let's put it that way, folks. Once again, that's my website there, folks, with info on the First Man on Mars thing there. And that is the direct eBay link. Solid says, Twisted Tales 2 has, I think, a great Wrightson cover. I believe you're correct, sir. I think you are correct. Okay, good. All right, Shannon. Well, I will call you Shannon now. Shannon says, and as far as slabs go, all the ones I have are because they were great deals or I couldn't find a decent raw copy. That's exactly it. That's precisely the thing right there, folks. It's like, look, man, you know, even so, like I've got, as I told you guys, I've got the, you know, I've got this. I don't have it. I don't have an original in raw form, but I've got the reprint, you know, from PS Art Books. But with this particular issue, I definitely feel like removing it from the slab. I may do that, folks. One night on a live show, I might just liberate this comic book from this bloody slab because, you know, as I said, this is the only slabbed pre-code I have. And I just hate seeing them, in slabs. I just don't like seeing it. It's one of those things, man. So that may happen. That may happen sooner than later, folks. That's what I'm saying right now. Michael Taylor says, yes, Mikey Shannon, one of the great people of this comic book community. Shannon hosts a show with Dr. Silver Age. Well, of course, I've been on, I've been on Four Color Fossils with Shannon and Dr. Silver Age, on, I think, several occasions, as a matter of fact. He has a YouTube channel for about 10 or 11 years. Highly recommended. Excellent. Yeah, I wonder if that's it. Let me check that out, folks. I'm going to go over here for a second. Okay, let me just try something. Oh, go to channel. Here we go. Well, that works. I'm dropping this in the chat. This is Shannon's channel, folks. I just dropped it in the chat. Check it out. I think he continues to do stuff on Four Color Fossils. As I said, I was on several shows with he and Dr. Silver Age, and I know they do shows, so head on over to Shannon's channel and give him a subscribe if you would be so kind, my good fiends. There we go. All right, do that. Gotham City Comics is here. Hello, Gotham City. Good to see you, man. All right, folks, check it out. I am going to flip this on over. We are going to check out first. We're going to go over to Bud Plant, Bud's art books, because he's added some stuff. You're going to want to check this out. There we go. Got him on the screen. I'm going to enlarge this so we can get a better look at what's going down with Bud Plant. There. I think that's pretty good. Let me just make sure. Yeah, that's all right. That's pretty decent. So Bud Plant, of course, he has his new arrivals section. I'm dropping the link in the chat right now, folks. Yeah, by the way, Gotham City Comics, how's it going with the website? Do you have any sales planned, or do you have any special announcements? Let me know, and I'll drop the link in the chat. Anything that you got going, Gotham City, just let me know. Shannon says, thank you for the kind words, Michael, and thank you for the shout out. Oh, you're very welcome, man. People head on over to Shannon's channel and check him out. That is the link to Bud's art books, the new arrivals. And we're currently looking at that on the screen. Now, Bud's always puts out the new PS art book stuff. And as you can see on the screen, he's got quite a few. They have added quite a few here, folks. There we go. That's better. That is much better. I just love that Suspense Comics number 11. Now, that's Golden Age, I want to say, circa 1945. And that is a wonderful L.B. Cole cover. So PS Art Books has done a facsimile edition of that. And that is just a beauty. I mean, L.B. Cole just had a way with color. I think more than anybody else did. If you want to, you can imagine walking down the street and you see that on the newsstand. The dime's coming out of my pocket, folks. Or perhaps it's coming out of somebody else's pocket so I can buy it. You know what I'm saying? No, I wasn't a pickpocket. Really, I wasn't. But this might tempt me to become one. I don't know. In any case, this is suspense number 11. LB Cole cover. Good Lord. That is just fantastic. So they've got it in facsimile form now, which is good to see, you know. Marvel Masterworks X-Men Volume 2. John Higgins, Beyond Watchmen and Judge Dredd. That's new. And the price has just been cut by 60%. So now it's $14.95. I see some sales on various issues here. Now, this, of course, is all PS Art Books. Dynamic Comics number 8, folks. With none other than Gus Rica on doing the art for the cover. Now, check that out. This is before, of course, you know, we had officially had pre-code horror comics, because this is 1941. So, I mean, geez, this is almost, well, it's a good 7 years before pre-code horror would actually kick in, you know. And this is Gus Rica just doing a beautiful cover. He would end up doing pre-code horror stories for companies like ACG, American Comics Group, for Adventures into the Unknown and so forth. But I just always loved this cover. It's just got some weird quality about it. Gus Riga Dynamic Comics. Absolutely fantastic. So they've got a facsimile of that. They've got some Lars of Mars facsimiles. They have got Elvira meets Vincent Price. I don't know what the deal is with that, folks, and I'm probably not going to find out. It's from Dynamite Comics. But they do have more facsimiles, The Thing 15 and 14, both Steve Ditko covers. This is Steve Ditko pre-code horror covers, folks, right there. From Charlton and The Thing. Yeah, that's quite nice. And yet another Ditko cover for The Thing, for issue number 13. Fritz Leiber. Fritz Leiber is everywhere, folks. There's no doubt about that. I just talked about Fritz Leiber last week. And, of course, his little starring role in the film Equinox from 1967 and 1970, respectively. Of course, he was a Weird Tales author and good friends with other Weird Tales writers such as H.P. Lovecraft. And he wrote this, a very famous sword and sorcery, set of sword and sorcery books surrounding Fafhrd and the Grey Mouser. So they've got the omnibus here for sale, which is totally cool. You got a Doctor Strange Epic Collection Volume 2. Some more PS Art books. Now, these are volumes, of course. What? The Crime Clinic. I've not seen that one before, folks. But it's a facsimile from PS Art Books. The Crime Clinic. Okay. Ooh, some choice Startling Comics facsimiles. Check these out. Let's take a closer look, shall we? There we go. Oh my God. Got these little, like, elephant squid creatures grabbing at her legs there. Good Lord. So this is from 1948. Wow. I'll tell you, PS Art Books is really pouring on the facsimiles. There ain't no doubt about that. God, incredible. The Strange World of Your Dreams, Jack Kirby cover on that. You got Mort Meskin, Bill Drought, and Jack Kirby inside this particular volume. This is volume 5 of Classic Horror Comics from PS Art Books. Dollman, also from PS Art Books, volume 1. Okay, what? Spicy Zeppelin stories. What the hell? I don't know what the hell that is. The history of science fiction and its toy figurines. Now, I have not seen this, folks. Let's take a closer look. We take a nostalgic walk through science fiction and all its various forms and the figurines and brands associated with it. Inspired by film, TV, comics, and books, here are the toys and figures, aliens, monsters, and even a few real-life astronauts. Wow, okay. Mystery Spaceship, Giant Martian Landing, Space Adventure, The Spacemen, Starbase, Traditional Flash Gordon and Buck Rogers, Mechanical Robots, of course, I would imagine. Let's take a look at some photos. Okay, what the hell? I don't know what the hell that is. Kind of reminds me of that flying creature from Ghostbusters. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, so they're getting into the Star Wars figures and so forth. Oh, wow. Wow. Nice. Yeah. So there was like space exploration, kind of like the toy soldiers you could get, the little plastic toy soldiers, but these were spacemen, and you could get like a lunar lander or a Mars lander. I gotta say, I don't remember having this, or I don't even remember seeing it. It says in the back, NASA Space Adventure. It's got the NASA brand right on it. That's remarkable, actually. Great stuff. Great stuff. And they've got, of course, a spaceship down here from Hong Kong, as it says, from 1980. Oops. Go back. All right. There we go. What the hell is that? Space exploring. Friction drive. I don't know. That is one odd looking spaceship. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Flash Gordon or George Malay's Trip to the Moon type of spaceship. Some more figurines. Outer Space Station. Man, you got me on that one. That's interesting. I mean, it looks like an interesting book. I don't know if it's $60 interesting, though. Maybe for toy collectors, probably, because it does appear that it contains a lot of rather rare toys in the science fiction realm. Pretty cool. So in any case, that's brand new on Bud's art books, folks. And new issue of Comic Book Creator, number 33 for $10.95. New issue of Back Issue Magazine. Of course, these are from Tomorrow's. And a little surprising. Rockets Blast the Rockets Blast and the Comic Collector set, number 3 and 4. Let's check this out. Oh, crazy fanzine here, folks. Oh, yes. Check it out. Snuff Comics in the Golden Age, Hal Foster interview, Weird Science, The Way the Future Was. Of course, with the Crypt Keeper on the cover. Closeout price $9.95. Highly recommended. Covers by Johnny Craig and Mark Schultz. Volume 3 showcases horror comics of the Golden Age with special emphasis on EC Comics. A Hal Foster interview. Nice. And then Volume 4 boasts an extensive interview with Mark Schultz, material from the limited edition Conan, published by Wandering Star. Additional articles focus on Robert E. Howard, the Silver Age Steve Ditko's Spider-Man, and the Golden Age art of Reed Crandall from James Van Hise, of course. Let's check out, this is the cover to number 4. That's a pretty good deal, folks. That's 2 issues for the price of 1. It's quite nice indeed. Of course, you get the interiors. They do all kinds of, oh my God, great stuff. I love Rocket's Blast. I got a few issues. Very cool. Some classic Conan there. Nice. Very nice indeed. Yeah, so, you know, it's Rocket's Blast, folks. You're going to get a lot of images and typically great articles as well. Spider-Man in the Rain. It's really quite nice, actually. Well done. So there you go. That is that issues 3 and 4. I wonder, I mean, yeah, 2000. These are from 2002, 2003, respectively. So they're not reprints, right? It doesn't say that they're reprints. So these are just unsold copies, I guess, of issues number 3 and 4, the original issues. Yeah, let's see. Let's check out additional information. Yeah, there are 128 pages each. Typical magazine, 8x11. Text, black and white interiors. That's a hell of a price for 2 issues, folks. $9.95. I mean, as they are typically about $10 a pop. The Fantastic Worlds of Robert E. Howard. This is one I have not seen either. It is also marked down from $18 to $9.95. And it's also James Van Hise, who did Rocket's Blast Comic Collector. Hailed by REH fans as a book essential to Howard's studies and originally sold out within mere months, the second edition is now available direct from the publisher as a special bargain closeout. Edited by James Van Hise, 21 articles by well-known Robert E. Howard scholars such as Rusty Burke and Morgan Holmes that discuss Howard's writing style and his impact on 20th century fantasy. Wow. Very nice. Normally $18, as I said, now $9.95. Oh boy. Yeah, it looks like they've got some Virgil Finlay in there. Of course, yeah, that's a prime Finlay piece right there. Amazing black and white art. And of course, Virgil Finlay did tons of work for Weird Tales magazine, as did Robert E. Howard. That's, the first Conan stuff was published in Weird Tales, along with other horror stories and fantasy, dark fantasy short stories by Robert E. Howard. Fantastic. That looks quite nice indeed. Here's another one, Pulp Masters. I think this is also, yeah, it's James Van Heist. Check this out, folks. Oops, shit. It's kind of fucked that up. There we go. Nice cover. Kind of digging that. Closeout price, once again, was $18, $9.95 now. An anthology of articles by and about writers and the characters of the pulp era, edited and partly written by James Van Heist, Will Murray on the top 25 Shadow novels, and Ed Cartier Shadow Portfolio. Ooh, Ed Cartier was one of the great illustrators for the Shadow during the pulp era. Modern Pulp Fandom, How I Write by Norvell W. Page, The Spider. Okay. Robert E. Howard, Master of the Dark Fantastic, and more. Let's take a little gander at a couple of yeah, these are early illustrations. Early pulp illustrations they have in here. Nice. Huh. Very cool stuff. There it is. Red Nails. The original publishing of Red Nails. I would assume that is also in Weird Tales Pulp magazine. Absolutely amazing. Great story. Oh, shoot. What the hell? Oops. There we go. Yeah, great story by Robert E. Howard. This is Ed Cartier, or Cartier, I don't know. But you recognize this is the Shadow, of course. Just classic Ed Cartier illustration for the 1930s, 1940s Shadow pulps. Fantastic. Man, these prices are great on this James Van Heist stuff, folks. That is rather exciting. John Romita, Amazing Spider-Man Daily Comic Strips, Artist Edition. Wow. For Romita fans. Granted, it is 150 smackers, folks. That's a little steep. Okay. But it's the Artist Edition. So there you go. Spy vs. Spy Omnibus. So there you go. That's new stuff. Some really cool stuff. In particular, the science fiction and toy figurines book looks very intriguing. $60, less intriguing on that. But yeah, this Rocket's Blast 2 issues for $9.95 is quite a deal. The Robert E. Howard book, once again by Heist, and this Pulp Masters book. Very, very good stuff. And, well, basically at 50% off, close to it. That's pretty nice. Let me get back to the chat. Yeah, that's Suspense number 11 is a great cover. Yes, L.B. Cole, man. He is just fantastic. Plastic Spaceman with Moonlander. Yes. Yeah, I never had that. I never saw that set, and apparently it was somehow sanctioned by NASA. Believe it or not. They are riding in a hot dog bun. Yes. So many great comic book related mags these days. Yes, there are. There are. And I'm glad you brought that up, Michael Taylor. For something I'm going to tell you guys in a second. I think there's a mag called Kirby Collector. There is, and I pretty damn sure that's also from Tomorrow's. Yep, 2 for $10. That's insane for a Rocket's Blast comic collector. Great shadow stuff. Fantastic stuff in the Bud Plant catalog. Yeah, facsimiles and all. Folks, yeah. Yeah, guess what? I currently have one book that's at the printers right now. Okay, it is in comic book form. Just to, full disclosure here. It is going to be 64 pages long. It's going to be something that is, well, obviously it's pre-code horror comics. It surrounds, involves pre-code horror comic books. But I don't think it's anything that's ever been seen before as far as art books, things related to pre-code horror. And with any luck, that will be ready to go by the third or fourth week in January, by the end of January, let's say. Right now, the printers are looking at it. I should get a physical copy back maybe by next Friday, but I kind of think it's going to be the week after that. It's the way these things go, with printers and stuff. But it's coming. I'm going to be getting it. I need to get one, make sure that everything is kosher. And when I do that, it's for sale. Yeah, so I'll keep you posted. It's also going to be relatively cheap as well. And I'm also doing another book. Right now I'm writing knee deep into another book. Once again, pre-code horror comics, and different, something that has not been seen before. I'm really excited about. That's going to take, I believe it's going to take a few months. Definitely. I'm looking for, I don't know, March, end of April, perhaps, for that one. But I am feverishly at work doing stuff on it. I think it's going to be really freaking cool. So I'll let you guys know when it happens, but I just wanted to announce that yes, Horror Mike is doing a few, if you will, art type books of his own, because I thought these areas in the pre-code comic book realm, especially, of course, in the horror sci-fi realm, were sadly lacking. And I kind of wondered, like, why hasn't anybody done this before? And you will see what I'm saying when you see these. I'm not going to say anything specific about them right now, but soon enough, you will see and know what I am talking about. It's pretty damned cool. Let me put it that way, folks. Okay. Did we get, fantastic stuff. Bud Plant catalog. Very cool, Mike. Yes, indeed. Thank you, Michael Taylor. All right, guys. Now we are going to, well, not really switch gears too much. I mean, we're going to go from Bud Plant. We are going to go to My Comic Shop, because they're about to have a January Prime auction for anybody that's interested. This is going to be a big one. It begins, I believe, tomorrow. Let me just get this thing a little larger. Here it is, folks. January Prime auction begins January 6th. Yep, tomorrow. And it's huge. Okay, this thing is going to go through to January 20th, so it's an auction that's going to last a couple of weeks, and all manner of stuff. Okay, as you can see here, it says pre-1960 lots. That's the first one. Then 1960s through 70s, 1960s through 70s actually two-parter right there, 1980 to 2010 lots, and then 2011 to current lots. That will be the last lot they put on the auction block. But all kinds of stuff. I mean, really interesting stuff. Check it out. This is pretty bizarre. I mean, just ephemera as well as comic books and so forth. Dick Tracy Punch-Out Halloween costume. Yes, produced by the Chicago Tribune. This costume consists of a sandwich board style costume and mask, both printed on cardstock. Here's a close-up. That is a trip, right? And I believe, yeah, that's the back of it. There's his vest and tie. Shirt, vest, and tie right there. And the back of that. So that's starting, I guess that's going on the auction block tomorrow. Says starts January 6th. I have no idea, folks. I mean, it's from 1953. It looks to be in immaculate condition. So I think it's probably going to go for a frightful sum of money, I would imagine. They just have all kinds of stuff in here, man. Original hand-painted color guide from Crime Suspense Stories #1 by Marie Severn. There we go. Who the hell knows? I'm sure that's going to go for a pretty penny. There ain't no doubt about that. Yeah, what was this? Yeah, check this out. Now, this is something that's rather interesting because, well, it's Ace Comics #1 from 1937. Check that out. I mean, we're talking early comic books. Probably, you know, I think historically speaking, 1937 might have been the first year they started calling comic books comics. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but initially they did not call them comics. You know, the whole deal. It was like funny books and stuff like that. So this might be the case with Ace Comics #1. But that's going to go for who knows what the hell. A lot of money. Let's put it that way. Kind of some early action comics. From 1943. This is issue number 58. That's getting back there. I'm sure that's going to go for something. Even in poor condition. A lot of early action comics in here. Adventure comics. There's a little Adventures into the Unknown. Adventures into Weird Worlds. Air Fighters. Pretty trippy. Check it. Air Boys. Stay off the face of Japan or die. Wow. That is a striking cover right there. That's Air Fighter Comics Volume 2, number 8 from 1945. Check this out. Al Cap's Wolf Gal. I don't know anything about this one. Some people may recognize this. This is issue number 2 from 1951. Crazy, man. That is just totally crazy. So they definitely have some rare stuff. There's no doubt about that. They've got some all-star comics. Good Lord, from 1940. Holy Toledo. Hourman, Hawkman. in there. The Spectre is also in here. Whoo! Boy, oh boy. Yes. All top, of course. Now, this issue was used in the Seduction of the Innocent. This is issue number 14 from 1948. I wonder if I can... Well, I can get a better... Oh, shit. Let me do this for a second. Get a better image of it. There we go. With, of course, Rula, the jungle goddess. There's some crazy stuff. Oops. Amazing Adventures, Ziff Davis, Alex Schomburg art. Amazing Detective, of course, Atlas Comics there. Mystery Funnies from 1938. Whoa. Scarce. Bill Everett. Cover art by Bill Everett. This is his first freaking cover, folks. I'm going to put that front and center here. And a better look at that. That is Bill Everett's first cover. Absolutely amazing. A 7.0. Yeah, that's going to go for a pretty penny. There ain't no doubt about that. Wow. Wow. Absolutely incredible. Let's take a little... Let's see. It says, yeah. Okay, Bill Everett's first cover. That is 1938. I didn't even realize he was doing comics in the 30s. That's insane. God. Wow. Yeah, that's just going to be, that's totally nuts. You know, that's going to be a big one right there. No doubt about it. Yeah, in a variety of other stuff. You got America's Best Comics in there, 1945. Archie Comics, of course. Betty and Veronica. Astonishing. Pulps, right there, 1940. Woo! Nice. Wow. So it's huge, folks. Let me drop the link in the chat here. That is page 1, right? Yep. In case you guys want to check this out, I just dropped a link in the chat. That is my comic shop. And of course, it's Buddy Saunders. You know, he founded it, created it. As you are probably aware, it's, Lone Star Comics. That's Buddy Saunders. And my comic shop is the online offshoot of that, from what I reckon. And he's a really cool dude. I've met him before. Really nice guy. Really great place to buy comic books. Rare and new. mycomicshop.com. I check out his auctions once in a while. Typically it's kind of it's like it's not as drastic, but it's a bit like heritage auctions where you find something in this very same day. You're looking at it and then like the bid is like $20 and you're thinking, wow, I could get this, I could get it. And of course, when it comes down to the last 5 minutes, it's shot up to $200 or whatever, you know how that stuff goes. happens on eBay too. But this is a huge auction. There's going to be a lot of great stuff in there. I've shown you a few things, and it's just always interesting to see what they come up with for these auctions, the things that they find, such as, I mean, as I said before, just strange ephemera like this Dick Tracy Punch Out Halloween costume from 1953. Really crazy, man. That is just really, you don't see that ever. It's the first time I've ever seen this. That is crazy. So that's what's going on right there. Check out this thing, Inky and Dinky, Felix the cat's nephews. You guys ever seen Inky and Dinky? There they are. This is apparently original cover art. Wow. From a 1958 issue. And they don't mention the artist. I don't know. Not sure. But in any case, there's some original art from Inky and Dinky there. So you got all kinds of stuff. Yeah, as I showed you before, the Marie Severin, A Snapshot of Death from Crime Suspense Stories, #1, 1950. This is the original hand-painted color guide that Marie Severin did. So that's really quite groovy. There you go, folks. That is what's going on at mycomicshop.com. Recommended, just to see stuff that you probably have never seen before and may never see again. That's kind of what I'm saying right there. Let me get back. Where are we here? Oh, here we go. Michael Taylor says, should be a fun auction to surf through. Yes, absolutely, man. There ain't no doubt about that. It's huge, folks. That's a biggie for my comic shop. Very cool early action comics, especially the tank cover. Indeed. Jacob Bornowski is here. Hello, Jacob. How are you, my good man? And there is the link, folks, to my comic shop. There you go. Great books in the auction. And that's easy for you to say. Howdy. Michael Taylor, that Tracy will probably be popular with vintage Halloween costume collectors. I would say yes. Yeah, and of course, Dick Tracy collectors. I would say. Good Lord. That is crazy. That's absolutely nuts. All right, folks. We are looking at PBA galleries. You got to check these guys out. Okay. This is, I mean, look, let's put it this way. I'm going to preface this by saying, if you're a science fiction book nut and you love classic science fiction stuff, you're going to dig the hell out of this. I'm going to expand this as well and get a little better view of what we're talking about here. Now, this is kind of a mixed bag in here. You're going to see some great stuff in the science fiction realm, but there's all kinds of stuff. It says science fiction, fantasy, and mysteries, children's books, and also the beat period and counterculture. So there's just all kinds of stuff in here, but let's get to some sci-fi stuff. Signed Ray Bradbury, Flatland from 1980, Arian Press. And now this is, auction is going to happen. Let me drop this in the chat here. There we go. That's PBA Galleries. So you got signed Bradbury. They're estimating 3 to 5 grand for this freaking book. Holy Toledo. That's nuts. I'm just going to move down the line here. There were a few that caught my eye. This may not be the right section. Let me go back up. No, that is the one. Let me click on this. Okay, that's section. Yeah, section 2. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. All right. There we go. Yeah, Clark Ashton Smith, Arkham House, first edition of Clark Ashton Smith's second story collection from 1944. They kind of have it low ball. It's starting at $100. They expect $200 to $300. You know, but that is Clark Ashton Smith, considered one of the greatest Weird Tales authors. J.G. Ballard. 3 J.G. Ballard books. One is signed by J.G. Ballard. Absolutely fantastic. Let's check it out and see which ones there are here. Oh God. Okay, they don't have it. Yeah, here we go. Running Wild, Love and Napalm, and The Crystal World. I must say I have not read any of those from Ballard. But yeah, they've got it. They're coming up for auction, which is totally cool. Let's see. There were a couple of there's a Howard Waldrop novel signed by Waldrop. Looks interesting. Arthur C. Clarke, signed Arthur C. Clarke. But there, here we go. Now this is particularly interesting. 1954 letter that Philip K. Dick wrote, and they're starting the bid at $1,500. They expect it to go somewhere between $3,000 to $5,000. This is just a letter that Philip K. Dick wrote, folks. But that is rather rare. You don't see those around much as far as Philip K. Dick goes. Original typescript letter from Philip K. Dick to a fan, George Haas. Wonderful content, includes comments on a long novel Dick is working on, his feelings about fantasy not being in vogue, dream symbolism, the unconscious mind, etc. Very cool. So there you go. There's just a ton of great science fiction stuff in here. There's Thomas Dish, 2 signed by Dish. This one's quite nice. First edition of Arthur Conan Doyle classic, The Hound of the Baskervilles, published 1902. There's a current absentee bid of $500. They expect it to go between $1,000 and $1,500. But I mean, folks, it's The Hound of the Baskervilles. It's Doyle, Conan Doyle right here. Good Lord. That is fantastic. The Best of Philip Jose Farmer. That's relatively new. That's Subterranean Press 2006. Some more Farmer here. Signed Farmer, actually. A script that Philip Jose Farmer wrote that apparently was never made into a film called Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, dated 1982. I'd never heard of that one. Ian Fleming's Goldfinger, folks. First U.S. edition. Right there. Surprisingly, yeah, $200 to $300 is their estimate for that. I would have thought more than that. Wow. You Only Live Twice, first U.S. edition. This one is I don't know what's going on with this one. Maybe somebody knows in the chat. It's Dune Messiah from Centipede Press. And I mean, this just came out in 2020. It says date published 2023. What's the deal with this thing? Why is it estimated to sell between $1,500 and $2,500? It's already got a $750 absentee bid. What's the deal with this? I mean, it's a brand new book. It's a book. Let me take a look. Maybe they explain this. No, I have no idea. I don't get it. Okay, only 500 copies were made. I'm not sure what the deal is. It says, I mean, it says there's a facsimile signature of Frank Herbert. Okay. What the hell? I don't know, folks. I do not know. That is a weird one. It is a low print run, but not a $2,500 print run. That's insane. So there you go. That is what's happening over at PBA Galleries. Look, at if you're, into especially science fiction and fantasy books, vintage books, and rather rare books, not only, just as far as like, I mean, the typical first editions and stuff, but signed editions as well, and some scripts from various writers, as well as letters, even letters, as I showed you, from like Philip K. Dick and so forth, which would be extraordinarily rare, obviously. That is PBA Galleries. I did drop the link in the chat. So if you are into that, by all means, check it out. Let's see. Kevin says, Thomas M. Dish, one of my favorites. Yeah, absolutely. I still have Camp Concentration around here. I think it may be in storage, but I know I've at least have that book. Whatever that book is, I think maybe it's Camp Concentration and Other Stories. It may be a larger collection. I'm not sure, but he's really quite good. PBR Street Gang, big fan of Farmer. Yes, Philip Jose Farmer, Riverworld. That guy was all over the place, man. Philip Jose Farmer went everywhere, folks. I mean, he was just, what can be said? Absolutely, just like what would be considered, what you might consider mainstream science fiction and fantasy, kind of like Riverworld, all the way to extreme adult stuff, like totally X-rated books that he wrote. Uh, it just ran the gamut with Philip Jose Farmer. Famously, of course, writers of The Purple Wage, from Harlan Ellison's Dangerous Visions, the first volume. Incredible Philip Jose Farmer novella in that one. Highly recommended. Very cool stuff in PBA galleries, yes. I mean, it's like, folks, I mean, if you can afford it, of course, there's a chance that you could go to some of those, your antique bookstores. They have the books piled up like 10 feet high and find some of these. I mean, that is totally within the realm of possibility. That's what I'm saying. But yeah, there you go, folks. That covers the auction portion of our program. And of course, that only means one thing. It is Tubi time. Let me see what I got. I got this thing lined up like I should. Yes, I do. It's very good. Very good. Yes, yes. As I was saying, folks, they are all over the freaking place for January of 2024. This is going to be nuts. Okay. It's just get ready for a potpourri. That's what I'm saying right now. From Tubi and from me personally. Now, if you haven't seen Death Trap, you should probably see Death Trap. This is from 1982. It is a wicked whodunit comedy mystery type of thing. Sidney Brule character, played, of course, by Michael Caine, is just hilarious. It is so freaking great. Okay. You got Michael Caine, Christopher Reeve, Diane Cannon. The three biggies stars in this. They are fantastic. Directed by Sidney Lumet. This was originally a stage play, and they turned it into a film. So thus, most of the film takes place inside a couple of rooms in this big house, right? And it is so well done. The dialogue is great. It's funny as hell. Michael Caine and Christopher Reeve, all of them. Actually, Diane Cannon is fantastic. She's looking really hot as well in this film. But they're all great. It's just a superb, as they put it, comedy, crime, mystery. It's one of those that just, Michael Caine just sinks his teeth right into it. So highly recommended, folks. Death Trap. It is now on Tubi. Catch it. Catch it. Another one highly recommended, of course, is The Blob. You may have seen the trailer at the beginning. I'm going to show it to you again. But this is the 1958 classic starring Steve McQueen. After discovering a massive alien slime that grows and engulfs people, two teenagers try to warn incredulous adults of the threat. And it's one of the great sci-fi horror flicks of the 1950s. There's no doubt about that. And here is mended. Now, on the other hand, this is John Carpenter's Vampires from 1998. And I watched it last week. It just came on Tubi not too long ago. It may be the sloppiest John Carpenter film I've ever seen in my life. I saw it back in the day, and I liked it when I saw it back in the 90s, late 90s, But boy, is it sloppy. There's just all kinds of shit that makes no sense in this film. Things that are really just done for effect without really thinking about it. as far as its impact on the plot or suspension of disbelief or anything like that. I don't know. You may have seen it, you may not have. You might want to check it out. If you like other John Carpenter films, you might want to give it a whirl. Obviously, James Woods is in it. He saves the film, in my opinion. There you go. That's pretty much what I'm going to say right there about vampires. I don't know. I think it was, I don't know. I'm just really not quite sure what the deal was. Maybe a lot of drugs were involved in the making of this film. It's very possible. But yeah, that's John Carpenter's Vampires. On the other hand, folks, they have just added Max Fleischer's Color Classics from 1934. Put this one on your list, folks. Put it on your list. You got to check this out. It's freaking great. 1934 to 1931. There's only one season, unfortunately. It's a compilation of all these. But for example, in the first episode, they have Betty Boop as Cinderella. So the retelling of the Cinderella story with Betty Boop, and it is hilarious. Oh my God. Just great stuff. And of course it is, from the Fleischer Studios animation. You know how good this stuff is, folks. It's really good. Great animation. And it's just some really good stuff. Of course, fun for the whole family. There's no doubt about that. If you got kids, they may just dig the heck out of this stuff. It is really quite good. That is Max Fleischer's Color Classics, folks. You'll want to put that on your TUBI list. And that brings us to Ultraman Z Earth. I think that's what is that what it's supposed to be? Ultraman Z Earth or Ultraman Zerth? I don't know. I mean, they have it as Ultraman Zerth at the bottom from 1996. I don't know what the hell's going on, but I've got a very short trailer to it that goes like this. I mean, what the hell was that? I don't know. But I'm probably going to end up watching it. Okay, that's, I don't know. Maybe there's something in that. Maybe they spiked the trailer with some, neuro-linguistic programming. I don't know. But I'm going to have to watch it, folks. And I'll get back to you on that particular thing. Now, this one I watched, folks. I recommend this film. This is Blood on Malay's Moon. That is, they're referring to George Malay, of course, the filmmaker that did Trip to the Moon, right? That was the classic silent science fiction film. This thing is so far out that it's actually in. Okay, it's the only way I can describe this thing. It is horror sci-fi. It's from Italy. It's directed by none other than Luigi Cozzi. Luigi Cozzi is perhaps most famous for Stella Star Crash. Of course, starring our favorite babe, Caroline Munro. And other films such as Contamination. He not only directs this film, he's in it. He's in most of it as himself, Luigi Cozzi. And it is a bizarre film. It is something you got to check out. He definitely loves science fiction. He likes classic science fiction and what was considered like new wave science fiction of the 1960s and 70s, with Philip K. Dick, Harlan Ellison, all of these writers. As a matter of fact, you see their books in this movie. He's definitely pointing to that. So, the premise: an obsessive fan's visit triggers a brutal murder in Luigi Cozzi's Profondo Rosso store and museum, which is located in Rome, Italy, with interdimensional consequences. You heard that right, folks. It is a bizarre and often hilarious film. I don't know really how to describe this freaking movie, but if you like far out flicks with it's just strange science fictional elements to it and horror, you got to check this film out. Okay. He gets back to the classics. He's going back to the silent era, back to, of course, George Millay and other filmmakers of that time, cinematographers, inventors. He gets into various inventors of, how should I say, cinematic devices at the turn of the 20th century and so forth. So it's fascinating. It is totally fascinating. It's bonkers, I'll tell you. But I just have to recommend it as something that has to be seen to be believed. Okay. Dario Argento is in it. He's not in it that much. As a matter of fact, he's kind of in it attending a convention. That's about the only thing I can say about that. But yeah, there you go. Luigi Cozzi is all over this freaking movie, and he directed it. So I recommend it personally. I don't think it's going to be to everybody's taste. It is not mainstream, folks. Forget it. It is not a mainstream type of film. Hey, it's a crazy Italian film made by this crazy Luigi Cozzi. Come on. That's what I'm saying right now. Blood on Melé's Moon. You got to check it out. It is fantastic. Now I'm getting into even like, I'm just totally out of sci-fi and horror altogether, but these are some fantastic films that have just popped on Tubi. Philadelphia Story, 1940. Katharine Hepburn, Cary Grant, Jimmy Stewart, folks. If you haven't seen this, it's a comedy romance, but the way they did comedy romances back in the 40s, especially with directors like George Cukor, this stuff is actually funny as hell and so well written. The acting, of course, is great when you got James Stewart, Katharine Hepburn, and Cary Grant on the scene. No doubt about that. It's fantastic. It's the Philadelphia Story, man. It's a monumental comedy film with there is a romantic angle to it, but it doesn't get in the way of the film. That's pretty much the crux of the biscuit right there. It's not sappy. Let's put it that way. There's no sap factor. And there is no sap factor in His Girl Friday, which is hysterical. This freaking movie is awesome. Cary Grant and Rosalind Russell playing opposite each other is just, it's like cinematic genius. That's what I'm saying right now. Directed by the great Howard Hawks, who, of course, also produced The Thing from Another World. Another fantastic science fiction film that is currently on Tubi. I've covered that before. This film is just, it's great. The Coen brothers took a lot of what they know from directors like Howard Hawks and films like His Girl Friday, with that witty, fast talking banter type of stuff. It's great, man. Highly recommended. His Girl Friday. Excellent. Rosalind Russell is pretty damn hot too, man. I'll just say that. I'm just putting it out there, folks. And the last in this comedy romance kind of stuff, 1936, My Man Godfrey. Freaking great. William Powell and Carol Lombard in the first place. Once again, it's the chemistry of the actors. These people are just, it's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Great screenplay, great direction. And yeah, so you got the premises: a scatterbrained socialite played by Carol Lombard hires a vagrant, Godfrey, who is played by William Powell, as a butler for her eccentric family. But there's more to Godfrey than meets the eye. So there you go. My Man Godfrey, 1936. Excellent. Excellent, folks. Now we're just going to plummet right back into some hardcore science fiction with the 2015 science fiction film Predestination. Highly recommended. You got to check this out. Sci-fi action thriller. This is based upon a story by Robert Heinlein called All You Zombies. Okay. And I love this film. It makes you think. It is thinking man science fiction. There's no doubt about that. It is not lazy science fiction. It puts you through it, man. I mean, it is complicated. It's got many layers, but it's just so well done that you are sucked into it. Predestination. When a secret governmental time traveling agency attempts to stop future criminals from their transgressions, a new kind of chaos ensues. There you go. Ethan Hawke, Sarah Snook, great cast. Hawke is just really excellent in this film. Predestination, highly recommended. Zombieland, folks, it's a lot of fun. You know, I would say Zombieland it's a lot of fun, and the Bill Murray sequence in this film is just, see it for that. If nothing else, if you haven't seen the film, watch it for the Bill Murray sequence. It is hysterical. It's hilarious. A college student with a unique set of skills joins forces with a trigger-happy killer and two treacherous sisters to survive a zombie apocalypse. Of course, it is, once again, a zombie apocalypse film, but it is pretty damned amusing. I found it entertaining. And once again, Bill Murray, folks. Bill Murray. That's what I'm saying. They just added 2010, the year we make contact, from 1984. It's hard to believe this film was, folks, it's 40 years old. That's what I'm saying. It is hard to freaking believe. I remember seeing this in the theaters. 9 years after the crew of the Discovery, of course, the original 2001, were betrayed by the rogue computer HAL, a team of American and Soviet astronauts set out to investigate. Talk about an incredible cast. You have Roy Scheider, John Lithgow, Helen Mirren, Bob Balaban, Keir Dullea, of course, who was in the original 2001. What a cast. Peter Hyams directs this. And, I mean, it's good. Look, yeah, of course, it's not going to stand up in, in the echelons to freaking 2001: A Space Odyssey, but it's a good follow-up. I thought it was pretty damn good. There's some really great plotting, I guess is subplots in this film that are happening. I enjoyed it tremendously. It's currently on Tubi. If you haven't seen this, it's, let's put it this way, it's less how should I put this? I mean, look, I love 2001: A Space Odyssey. I love the whole film. You know, uh, it's just a great movie, back and forth. A lot of people find it far too long, and you know, kind of how should you say, deliberately paced, I suppose. But okay, the that's fine. In any case, 2010 is not that way. Let's put it that way. It's definitely more mainstream of a science fiction film, but I think it was very well written, definitely well produced, well acted, well directed by Peter Hyams. And it's new on Tubi. It's the first time I've seen it on Tubi. So that's quite nice indeed. We're moving into some more controversial territory, folks. It's Ghosts of Mars from 2001. Yes, we're moving back to the John Carpenter land, as it were, with Ghosts of Mars. And I'm going to say something that might be a bit controversial. Ghosts of Mars is much better than vampires. Let's just put it that way. And it's kind of goofy, okay? But at the same time, there's something about Ghosts of Mars that is intriguing as well. And I'm not quite sure what it is, but maybe it's the cast. Really, a good action cast with Ice Cube, Natasha Henstridge, Jason Statham, of course, is in this, Pam Grier, Clay Duvall, and Joanna Cassidy. So a really good action cast there. It's entertaining. I found it entertaining. Let's put it that way. Mars, 2176 AD. A dormant Martian breed of warriors is unearthed and invades the bodies of the human colonizers, mining their planet for its resources. Okay, there you go, folks. No, they're just insane, bloodthirsty ghosts of Mars. That's what's going on there. So there you go. I recommend it. That's what I'm saying right now. Invasion of the Body Snatchers, 1978, the Kaufman film. They have just added this, folks. You got it. I mean, I think everybody's seen this. I don't know why I'm trying, I think let's put it this way. Probably most people have seen this one in the original, the Don Siegel 1950s. I love both of them, and I think they're pretty much exactly on the same par. They're both great. They both have things about them that are stunning, especially for the time period, with Don Siegel's Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I mean, it was right smack dab in the freaking Cold War and the quote unquote communist threat. And that plays heavily into that version of the film. This version, it's in the 1970s. Films just suddenly got extremely nihilist, and where everybody dies in the end. You know what I'm saying? It's like at some point, right? I don't know, early 70s, people were just like, hey, screw it. Enough of the upbeat ending shit. Let's just start making every film with a downbeat ending where everybody dies or loses or gets mangled or whatever. And this is Invasion of the Body Snatchers 1978. It's bleak, folks. It is a bleak version of the novel, which is not like this. Okay. And that's good because, when you adapt something, you've got to put your own spin on it. And I think Philip Kaufman, it's the late 70s. And it was the zeitgeist, right? That was just what was going down. And boy, does it go down. And this version of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, folks, if you somehow have not seen it, put this on your list. If you have seen it, put it on your list and watch it again. It's that good. Okay. It's just so good. Leonard Nimoy is good in this. He's really good. What a cast. Donald Sutherland, Brooke Adams, Jeff Goldblum, Leonard Nimoy, Veronica Cartwright. I mean, that is hardcore cast right there, folks. And Sutherland and Brooke Adams are fantastic. Nimoy is, I think he's really good. You know, he's really good and creepy in this film. So Invasion of the Body Snatchers, highly recommended. This one just popped up on Tubi, folks. I have not seen it, but boy, am I going to watch it. From Bayview Entertainment, Spine Tingler, the William Castle story from 2007. I never saw this film. This documentary chronicles the life and career of William Castle, known for his horror films with outrageous audience participation gimmicks. There you go. Of course, Matinee, the film with John Goodman, directed by Joe Dante, was based upon the life of William Castle. And you've got William Castle in it. Vincent Price is apparently interviewed, Joan Crawford, Roger Corman, Bob Burns. There you go, folks. It looks freaking great. I cannot wait to watch. I'm probably going to watch it this weekend. This is one of those that you just gotta see. Spine Tingler. And last, but probably not least, is Battle Beyond the Stars, folks. Yes, it's New World Pictures' Roger Corman produced sci-fi adventure action film, which is his answer to Star Wars, basically. Starring George Peppard, Robert Vaughn, and Richard Thomas. Yes, it's Richard Thomas. And it was actually co-directed by Roger Corman with Jimmy Murakami. So there you go. 7 mercenaries are recruited from throughout the galaxy to save a peaceful planet from the threat of a tyrant bent on dominating the universe. There you go. That is Battle Beyond the Stars. And naturally, I have a trailer for this one too.
Ruthless invaders, a defenseless planet. Battle beyond the stars. A lone youth escapes on a last-ditch mission that begins at the edge of the universe. The story of a boy who finds more than he expected. Make them burn. And all he can handle.
Does your species have kissing?
Oh, yes. We have that. Try one. That's a hot dog. It comes from Earth. Do you like it?
There's no dog in this. Soybean meal, niacin, dextrose, and sodium nitrate flavoring.
That's what we call meat back home.
Battle beyond the stars. Starring Richard Thomas, George Peppard, Robert Vaughn, John Saxon, A battle beyond time, beyond space.
I said fire!
That ends in a desperate gamble.
They'll be able to board us.
It won't make any difference. Get that hatch open!
Battle beyond the stars.
There you go, folks. That's Battle Beyond the Stars. Of course, George Peppard. Yeah. Well, look, man. It's one of those films I saw it in the theater when it came out, 1980. Yeah, a few of you may have seen it as well. And it was entertaining enough at the time. It's now on TUBI. Perhaps you want to relive those glory 1980s days by watching Battle Beyond the Stars. I don't know. I just don't know. But yeah, so folks, that concludes TUBI. And I hope you like that selection. Definitely rather unusual selection. I tell you, there's some fantastic films in there. The 78 version of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, if you haven't seen it, you should really check it out. It is fantastic. Let me get back to the chat here, see what's going on. Okay. Death Trap is excellent. Yes, it is fantastic. It's just hilarious, man. Michael Caine is just he's so good in that film. You guys, you should check it out. It's just solidly entertaining, and you could see what's really great about it too is that you can see where they got, how they took it from the stage play to the film and made it work really well, wherein you can make a movie that has very, very limited sets and make it, you got 90 minutes or whatever it is, 100 minutes, and it's just entertaining as hell. That's the thing about Death Trap. It's so great. The dialogue is fantastic. I just dig the hell out of it. Michael Taylor says, Steve McQueen and a cast of young people. Yeah, McQueen was very young. Yeah, he was. That definitely I don't know if that may have been his first starring role, Michael Taylor. That's very possible. The cool thing about the Superman cartoon, it was when Superman wasn't at full strength, when he struggled a little with his strength, with the Fleischer cartoons. Yeah, and I love that animation too. Matter of fact, Zombo is showing I want to say Max Fleischer, right? That's the guy. He's showing Max Fleischer Superman segments at the end of his shows on the Monster Channel, okay, which is totally cool. Mike, I don't know if I ever told you this. Marilyn Monroe was a passenger in my father's cab. Arthur Miller, the great playwright, was with her. They were married at the time. Wow, that's crazy. I think that sounds familiar, Michael Taylor. I remember 1984 like it was just yesterday. Yes, indeed. 2001 Space Odyssey was good. Yeah, I liked it a lot, PBR says, great version of Snatchers. Yes, it is. I still consider those two the best. The original, as far as adaptations, the 1950 Don Siegel, and then the Philip Kaufman 1970s. And they're just kind of on a par. Both of them are so good in their own ways. They're, fantastic. Steve Harrison is here. Hello, Steve. Good to see you. Spine Tingler was great. The gimmicks were a coast. Okay. What? The gimmicks were coast to coast ghost spook shows. Yeah, well, they were. Yeah, that was the whole thing with William Castle and that stuff. James Cameron did FX in Battle Beyond the Stars sets and spaceships, and he did a couple of other ones for Corman too, or at least he worked on them. And in that realm, doing effects and stuff, I remember that reading about that. Steve Harrison, Robert Vaughn was in the Magnificent Seven. Yeah, he's a great actor. There's no doubt about that. And George Peppard. I mean, he's a really good actor. And yeah, I just watched not too long ago, folks. It may be on Tubi. It's definitely on Creature Features, but Damnation Alley, which I liked. I watched it again. I was like, man, this is a good, science fiction film. Damnation Alley with George Peppard. That alien is health conscious. Yes. PBR says, Battle Beyond the Stars. Gotta love it when a plan comes together in space. That's the whole thing right there. And of course, John Saxon is the evil, well, at least one of the evil guys. It's hilarious. Steve Harrison, it may be dated, but it's fun considering the time. Remember, Wonder Woman was the TV sci-fi of the time. Sure. Oh yeah, man. I don't know. It's not really the special effects, Steve Harrison, because I mean, I like stuff. I mean, look, I like watching the, Buster Crabbe, Flash Gordon serials. And that's, you're talking some definitely some primitive effects, but they work. They're good, Battle Beyond the Stars had the spaceship with boobs, which was pretty funny. Yes. Or it kind of, yeah, it looked like that, or actually like a uterus, a flying uterus. I swear to God, man. Kevin says Steve Harrison, Robert Vaughn was also the Man from U.N.C.L.E. mid-60s. Yes. God, he also was in one or two Outer Limits, was he not? I'm thinking he was. I mean, he was in a ton of movies. There's no doubt about that, but I remember him in Outer Limits too. I just can't place the actual show or, the actual episode. Vaughn was a Canadian. Well, there you go. He was in Breakfast at Tiffany's. God. Okay. Wow. All right, folks. Well, it is, geez. Once again, it's like we're going on 2 hours and 20 minutes. Here's the bad news, okay? I've run out of time. I got my warning from StreamYard, and I'm down to I guess now about 45 minutes left until January 9th, which would be next week. So no Sunday show, folks. No Sunday nooner this time. It'll be next time. We'll do the Friday show. I may try again next Friday for 8 p.m. I may try to do the 8 p.m. guys. The 9 p.m. I think is just a little late. I don't know about you guys, but I think I should try, and let's just try for 8 p.m. next week, and then we'll go with the Sunday nooner for next Sunday. Okay. Dave McCallum was in the Outer Limits. Yes, that is correct. The Bolero Shield. Yeah, the Bolero Shield was shit. I just totally, I can see him. You know who I'm talking about. Killing me. Shit. I don't know. He's great. You guys know and love him. Okay, I can just say he was in the the first X-Files movie. He's Jesus Christ. He's been in a ton of stuff. Oh my God. It's driving me nuts right now. Oh, wait a second. Yeah, he was. That was, yeah, the man with the sixth finger. Okay, who was the guy in the Bolero Shield? Was he also in the Bolero Shield? Because it was the other actor. Remember, it was, God, that's fucking driving me crazy. It was the guy who was in Space 1999, the lead character in Space 1999. I just can't remember his damn name. He was in the Bolero Shield. I know that. And he's really great. He was also in, Ed Wood as playing Bela Lugosi. Absolutely fantastic actor. But he was in Bolero Shield. Yeah. In any case, guys, sounds good. Okay, good. 8 it is, yes. We're going to aim for 8 next Friday, folks. There we go. All right, guys. Everybody have a great weekend. And I will be posting a video on Sunday. So in lieu of a live show, I'm going to post a video. And then, of course, I will see you guys next Friday night at 8 p.m. We're going to do the 8 p.m. thing. I'm going to leave you out on this little ditty from Jason X. Good night, folks.
Hey, you want a beer?
Or do you want to smoke some pot?
Or we can have premarital sex.
We love premarital sex.
She's done with the campers.
Hey, bartender, come here.
Yes, sir?
I'm getting kind of hungry. What do you got to eat?
Oh, well, we have beer nuts and we have deer nuts.
What's the difference?
Well, beer nuts are $1.25.
Yeah?
And deer nuts are always under $1.
What? Why you? I oughta...